What's up, friends, and welcome in to Leading Off with Bogman and the Welsh. The In This League invasion rolls on, my friends. How is everybody doing? Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. We got Wonky in the chat, and we have got the one, the only Mr. Scoot Boogman, Scott Bogman at Bogman Sports on Twitter. Oh, hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, Welsh. It's been a little bit since we talked. Of course, we definitely don't spend way too much time together, so that's good. But I'm excited to be back and on this show and talking to you about some baseball today. We had a good one last night. D-backs were awesome.
D-backs were awesome, as we got to them, the V-backs here. What better way to start off the show than your favorite thing than talking negatively about the Los Angeles Dodgers? How about that? Because Tony Gonsolin finally took his
soul.
I know he finally took his first loss of the year Monday after allowing 4 runs in the 6th against the Nationals. He had not allowed a run, more than 2 earned runs in a start this season. Bogman, I had actually wrote up a couple weeks prior in the sell him, buy sell article. Tony Gonsolin was my guy. It's kind of like old hat news here at this point. It's like, super low.
The expectations we're looking for finally came through here. Yeah, I mean, you have been spearheading this. Tony Gonsolin's going to be no good in the second half because I believe his lob was like 99% or something absurd. The BABIP was under 200. It was like him and one other pitcher in the bigs. I know these numbers because you've repeated them so many times.
You know what was brutal? I was like tuning into the game. I had a prop going last night. Freddie Freeman did not pay off. Brandon Drury sure did, for anybody that took that with me. Freddie Freeman did not pay off, unfortunately. So I was watching that game a bit to see if that prop was going to hit. And it was like early on, and I'd come in for like Freddie Freeman at bats, and Gonsolin was kind of dealing a little bit early, and I was like, could sure use Gonsolin. Like, I'm like, how I was actually having that question in your head where it's like, all right, we know regression's coming, but how long can you go before whatever the underlying things don't really matter? It's kind of like Christian Walker with the Diamondbacks. You and I have talked about second lowest BABIP in all of baseball. I'm not sure how much is it going to matter if he just carries it the whole time. Like, a historical thing would tell you it would change. Shane Bieber, Tony Gonsolin. So I was questioning myself last time, and
don't ever question yourself. Well, yeah. Come on. Well, what are you thinking here? You were on the right path, in this result that we were waiting for finally did happen. So there it is. Yes. I mean, and handing an L to any Dodger feeds my soul. It
does feed your soul 100%. We also in Dodger news, Walker Buehler played a little catch, played a little bit of throwsies yesterday, I believe it was, getting closer. Bogman, do you call it having a catch or having a throw? Do you know the term?
I just say playing catch.
Okay, because I see a lot of people saying like we're gonna have a catch. And that is like a Midwest thing, because I've never experienced.
It's Field of Dreams. When he has a catch with his dad, that's what he calls it.
So everybody likes to have we're gonna have a catch. We're gonna play a catch.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, we're gonna have a catch. Yeah, it's either play catch or have a catch.
Go Kart says it's playing catch. I say it's playing catch, but there's a catch in there. Oh, have a toss. Are you
have a toss? Throw some. There's all kinds of different ways to say it. So
yeah, okay. You're like, whatever. Just let's not keep talking about it. It's making me feel uncomfortable. So.
It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. It's just
Walker Buehler.
There are regional differences still. You know me, man. I like guy's already hurt. He's going to be slowly babied back. They want him for the playoffs. They don't want him for the end of the regular season. So, I don't know. For fantasy, I'm not really excited.
Yeah. Oh, Go Cards.
They're going to baby him.
Look at Go Cards, by the way. Do you guys even watch baseball? It's playing catch. So that's what he was saying. That's what he was saying on there. Another big injury starting pitcher news. Jacob deGrom set for a AAA rehab assignment tomorrow on Wednesday, Boggs, and perceivably the last one. This will be the last dog.
So was the last one.
No. It wasn't gonna be the last one. It was just it's just getting ramped up, Bogman.
Is that right?
Yeah. Don't talk negatively about Jacob deGrom. This is the last one, the last of the last ones, which would line him up probably for like I think it was they were saying like Monday the 1st, something like that would be the. I don't think that lines
Is that
up,
what
though.
they're
Could it be
saying?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Monday
Sunday?
the 1st of September or August? I'm not sure which
August.
one it is for Jacob deGrom anymore. So the setbacks scared me. I was already off of Jacob deGrom. You guys know that. You talk about someone who's going to be unbelievably babied. He already has been through the rehab process because he's going to be playing hurt. Torn UCLs don't go away because you rested on them for a couple months.
Yeah.
So what was your dad, Homer Simpson?
The
Brian?
chat's very funny today. The chat's very funny today. But I'm optimistic. We're going to be all eyes on it. I don't know if they're doing this. MLB, this was like whatever, right before the All-Star game, they ended up broadcasting on MLB.TV the rehab start that he had. And I don't know if they are expecting to get that going.
Ridiculous. But I mean, that's what I said. Like, it's fun. We want to watch Jacob deGrom and see what he's doing. But I mean, there's plenty of, there's plenty of 14-year-olds throwing against the 8-year-olds and stuff we could go watch on YouTube too. It looks like the same stuff because deGrom just outclasses every single level. It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brutal experience for any of these guys.
He outclasses the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean,
he should be playing in the big leagues, right? Yeah,
100%. Yeah, is there a bigger big league? There's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's called like the Subway Series, or playing the Dodgers or something. That's the big league, unfortunately. Not playing in Toronto, Bogman, is going to be Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, who are both officially placed on the restricted list. So we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. We don't have to go down that hole. But
I was gonna say, the good thing we have it on the sheet here. Let's talk about let's really get into it. I mean, it sucks. You miss those guys for 3 games, but they'll be back after that. So at least they're not hurt. So
yeah, two games, but I think it's just a 2-game series.
2 more games.
That they're going to be. Yeah, exactly. But both placed on the restricted list. You mentioned it. Merrill Kelly fired 8 scoreless innings as the Diamondbacks beat up on the Giants 7-0. And I believe they had a late switch, by the way, where it was supposed to be Tyler Gilbert pitching yesterday, and they put it, and Kelly was going, and then Gilbert is going today. I think that was maybe there's an expectation thing in there, but Merrill was awesome.
He was, and in fact, he was so good that it actually led to what we're going to be doing on our Down the Rabbit Hole over at ITL today, because I text you in the middle of this in the 5th inning when he was perfect through 5.
Yeah, you did.
I text you and I said, might want to flip on Merrill Kelly, see what's what tonight on that game. And first batter in the 6th inning, base hit, of course, because that's just the way it works.
So what Bogman
maybe start thinking about baseball superstitions and stuff like that. So
exactly is we have a little comedy show Bogman and I do, and it's going to be all about superstitions and sports superstitions, because I went into the game, Diamondbacks I think scored a couple runs in there, and then I think you said immediately gave up the hit, and it got me thinking, as we're going to talk about it, I think the acknowledging a no-hitter perfect game might be the greatest sports superstition that lives.
You think so?
I don't think there's a bet. I mean, I would be curious about it. This is for our other show, but you can be here. I don't know if there's a bigger superstition, if you can be more stitious on anything outside of the don't call a perfect game or no hitter. I think it might be the biggest one of all. But we will discuss that later. But Merrill was awesome last night. I thought this one was interesting. Jonathan India, getting back to it, Bogman, launched his first career grand slam Monday as the Reds beat up on the Marlins. He was hitting 205 July 5th, which was my daughter and wife's birthday. He is now up to 240. We had we'd completely let go of Jonathan India. People were ready to cut him. I actually turned down a trade earlier in the year. It was a points league, though. So India for Max Meyer. And I'm just curious, are you back on the Jonathan India train? He's hit around 260 in the month of July. He had a horrific previous month. Injuries have been there, but looks like he's getting back and has raised his batting average almost 40 points since July 5th.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on Jonathan India, and I think it's one of those cases, and you've seen it many, many times. I feel like Teoscar Hernandez had it earlier in the season as well, where the guy just came back too early, and it wasn't bothering him. Maybe it just threw him into a funk. It's hard to tell with that stuff because, we're not talking to these guys every single day, but it's like, is this still hampering you and bothering you, or are you just out of your rhythm because you didn't play for X amount of days. It's hard to tell which one is which, but I kind of think that's what was going on with India. It happened to T. Oscar earlier in the season as well, and now he's been crushing it. It's like 3 weeks after he came back, and then he started crushing it. And I believe the same thing is going on here with India. So happy to see him hitting again. And it's all like, if you're a Reds fan, it's always so much fun to see a player hit their first career grand slam. Perdomo for the D-backs first homer was a grand slam. I remember Justin Upton's first grand slam as a Diamondback Welsh was against the Dodgers, and we choked the lead away and lost. I remember being very angry about it. So there you go.
Looking over at India too, it's been fastballs that have destroyed him this year. Last year he hit 301 against fastballs, but he had an XBA of 278. So you can see an obvious decline, like playing over his head, down to 215 versus fastballs this year. He's hitting breaking pitches better. Off speed is still kind of, the crap hole that he's going to be dealing with, but 215 to 301, huge differential. And barreling has been an issue. It's cut in half from last year. Exit velocity way down. His average, you want to be careful about like average EVs and stuff. 84.5. It was 87.6 last year. So there's obviously you can't go and look at like the entirety of the season because it's starting to piece itself into different seasons. But I think this is like a really good buy time on Jonathan India. A couple of the guys, the FantasyPros guys, I see Wonky and looks like Mayer both mentioning they hadn't let go of India. I would not be letting go of India, but you've seen him be let go. You see people want to rid themselves of India. And if the cost is nice and cheap, I think it's not a bad time. So it's nice to see that happen. And Bogman, he will never go away. He is the roach of Major League Baseball. Just had to put this in here. Dallas Keuchel is back, and he signed a minor league deal with the Rangers, and this would be his third team this year.
Yeah, as long as he's not in Arizona, that's all I care about. So, look, I understand keeping the dream alive and everything, but at home for Dallas Keuchel is Kelly Nash. Go home, bud. I mean, come on. What are you doing?
Just send him off. Just send him off. Like, it'll be okay, Dallas.
It's gonna be fine. You did a great job. You worked real hard. I mean, he was awesome for a big stretch.
You know what they should do? I have a great idea for the All-Star game. They should do like an elimination match in wrestling. Our buddy Joe is gone today. I forgot to mention that at the top. Joe was out seeing WWE. And I think he was in New York, so he just didn't make it back in time. He'll tell us all about it tomorrow. But they should do at the All-Star game an elimination pitch match. And it's Patrick Corbin versus Dallas Keuchel, and it's a pitch off. And the one
loser retires match.
Loser leaves. Loser's out. So it's like I said, it's a literal it's a career retirement match. And they just do that. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like two worst pitchers in baseball. It's a pitch off to see who's going to get kicked out of there forever.
Yeah, I mean, we say that, but one of them has been in the major leagues on the same team all year, and the other guy has been on 3 teams. I hate to say that Patrick Corbin is definitely going to win, but Patrick Corbin's definitely going to win. That's terrible.
I think that would be but you know what? Then let's build the legend. You also build the legend of what would then be the worst pitcher in baseball. You build the legend because they beat the other guy. I think it's a great move. I think that's one of my cures to fix in the All-Star game.
Both worst pitchers in baseball had to be involved with the Diamondbacks at some point. Just that's the way it is. So
yeah, exactly.
Patrick Corbin and Dallas Keuchel.
Or Mr. Buster said, or have Keuchel and Corbin just pitch regularly for the home run derby.
Not a bad idea.
It's a very, very good idea. A couple injuries. Chris Bryant is going to visit a specialist today in Denver. He was not in the lineup because of some sore footsies. He had the sore tootsies yesterday.
Finally starting to come back. I think he fouled one off his foot or something. Like he was finally starting to hit again and drop some bombs and stuff.
And really it's gone.
Take advantage, of course. And it's gone. Move back a line. No more Chris Bryant here. Goodbye.
Nope. I'm really, really getting over it. The whole injury first half, not being able to hit in cores, not hitting homers. Then you start to pick it up, and then more injuries rampant at third. I'll tell you, man, as someone that has experienced a couple of those different markers of like you go from your 20s to your 30s, then you hit your mid 30s, and then you're going to close to pushing your 40s. Brian's not doing well with that transition from 20s to 30s because it has been a rough go this year. And I'm relatively out. And speaking of out, Mackenzie Gore was removed from his start on Monday, or his relief appearance on Monday versus the Tigers with left elbow soreness.
I probably should have went ahead and let him not start while you're trying to acquire Juan Soto, but okay.
Yes.
Sucks.
You know what? That actually leads us to a very, very interesting question with Mackenzie Gore, where he's tied Jim Bowden. So can we talk about this tweet, Boggs? We all know the Juan Soto stuff is out there. We all know the Juan Soto trade rumors. Everyone's talking about it. I saw this tweet and I was fascinated. Jim Bowden tweets, the Juan Soto trade market is like the present housing market. I mean, what a way to get people. I bet these
everything is way too expensive.
I bet this,
and
the
everybody
comments
wants
are
one.
Incredible. So he says, it's like the present housing market. The Nationals are not only going to get their asking price, but might even get more. Interest is from all market sizes and is robust. And here's the one that really stood out. Expect the biggest haul in MLB history. And he said, there is no front runner as of this morning. And this tweet was, I think today. I think it was this morning here.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. I would love to know, first off, can you recall what was the biggest trade in MLB history? So like, if we're saying this will be the biggest haul, what would you say the biggest trade is? Does anything come to mind?
There have been so many trades, dude. I just can't think of one that was unbelievable. I remember the Braves getting a lot for Teixeira, or the Rangers getting a lot for Teixeira from the Braves. I remember the D-backs gave everything in the world up for Richie Sexson, who won.
So let me ask you something real quick.
Games.
Okay, that was an incredible. They didn't really give up a whole bunch, but they gave up like Council.
They gave up a lot of players, but it wasn't
7 players. I think it
wasn't like top end prospects. I don't think so.
No. So okay. So let me ask this then: is the biggest haul dictated by the name of the player or the sheer amount of players that probably qualify as being like decent?
It's the name. It's always the names. Like it's the bigger the names. And, when you trade big leaguers in a deal plus top end minor leaguers, that's the type of haul that we know that the Nationals are looking for here. And that's something, to me, it's always the names and not the, value over volume for sure.
So I'm really curious what people think the number one is. If anyone in the chat has it, drop it. I'd be curious because I kind of struggled with like, okay, if we are going to dictate this as the biggest haul in history, because that's the word here. The
Astros gave up a ton for Randy. I remember that deal.
The biggest haul. So again, that is not referring to like, hey, this would be the biggest trade ever because, hey, Juan Soto's involved. It's no, the biggest haul in the history of baseball is the idea for what I think probably deserves it to be. So if anybody has one, drop it. But I'll ask you, Boggs. There is no front runner, of course. That's the term right now that they're saying. There's no front. All the different markets, we've seen everybody jump in. Let me ask you to give me, let's start with the Cardinals. I'm going to just do 2 teams. What does the biggest haul in the history of the MLB trade market look like for the Cardinals team if they were to acquire Juan Soto?
I mean, I think it'd have to be 2 big leaguers, like Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, and then their top prospect, Jordan Walker, and Matt Libator, and probably other pieces as well. It'd have to be like,
that's the biggest trade though. If it goes down, do you think like we're going to go back and we're going to like
for one player, we'll really 2, because if you trade for Soto, you have to trade Patrick Corbin. You have to take Patrick Corbin's contract as well. I think for to get one guy, that would be, I mean, it has to be close. You're talking about 2 major league ready to go outfielders plus one of the top 10 prospect and a big time pitching prospect. I feel like it has to be close. I just don't know if any team has enough to make it the biggest deal ever.
I feel like if we're going to dictate it as the biggest deal in history, it is going to have to require more major leaguers than we're maybe ready for. So I'd start to speculate, what if Flaherty was involved in that? What if it was the Cardinals and it was like Flaherty, Carlson, Walker, and then 2 other lower end prospects? I feel like that would look really big. Let's take the San Diego Padres, and that's why I brought them up. Mackenzie Gore was hands down had to be at the front of any deal that I still think the Padres sneaky are like the team that is going to do this. But if Mackenzie Gore is hurting from a long-term perspective, this could hurt that deal because that would have to start with Abrams and Gore. But to be the biggest haul in history has to be something beyond what we're expecting. And it makes me think a team like the Mariners. And I know this had been brought up and they wouldn't want to do it, but trading a guy like Logan Gilbert, like getting Gilbert, Kelnick, and Noelvi Marte. I think if we look back at that, that would look like a massive deal. That it would be stupid for them to move Logan Gilbert.
Something that would put Soto somewhere for the next decade, assuming he signs a contract extension, and something that gives the other team 4 to 5 starting players in their lineup, on their roster. That is something that the Nationals want. And I just, you can trade for 4 or 5 guys, but what are the odds every single guy is going to be in your starting lineup like 3 years from now? Probably not very high.
I've been simmering on that. The biggest haul in history. It's going to be really, really fascinating. Teams like the Mets are out there. The Yankees have the ability to do that. I think from a name perspective,
do you think, that being said, do you think the biggest haul in MLB history, it's obviously hyperbole, but do you think that makes it easier for this trade to get done because there's going to be so many bidders that Washington is definitely going to take a deal, or does it make it harder because who is actually going to pony up enough?
I think it's going to be easier. I think teams are ponying up. I think all that's happening is you're going to have, I mean, as the report has been, they're not negotiating. They're just taking offers, and they're going to take the absolute best one that comes out. And I think teams are, they're dropping the bank, but there are a couple teams that seem to not, if the Yankees are not going to give up Volpe, or not going to give up Volpe and Dominguez, that might be the thing. But it's got to be names. That's the more I've thought about it, is it might not even be the size of a trade. It might be the pure names that we throw out there. But see, like, Mayor, you just put O'Neill, Carlson, Liberatore, Ivan Herrera. I'd even include Jordan Walker. I posted something like that a week and a half ago, and it wasn't like well received that was a big trade. Does that look, here's my question, does that look, O'Neill, Carlson, Liberatore, Herrera, and Walker, like the biggest haul in the history of MLB trades? Maybe.
I mean, that's 4 starters at least. I don't know how far away is Ivan Herrera. I don't know much about him, but
he's a catcher. No, he's a good catcher. I mean, those are like you've got 3 major leaguers. You've got a good catching prospect, and Jordan Walker is a top 5 overall prospect in baseball. It's a great haul, but does it look like the biggest? We don't have to keep going on it, but it's just keep thinking about that as the trade rumors go on. This was a fascinating thing. I wish I could put the video up on. I can't. I just wanted to share it. Yesterday, Codify, they shared this, Pogs. Juan Soto hit a ball 7 feet in front of him. It ended up as a 330-foot triple. 7 feet, a grounder ball, just a grounder. You can click on the link if you want. I think I put the tweet in there if you want to take a look at it and describe it.
Beat it into the ground and rolled all the way to the wall.
Beat it into the ground, went all the way to the wall, had a 330-foot triple. I went and looked over on Baseball Savant to see, like, oh my God, was this like 93 miles an hour? It's wild. Just go look at the video. It looks like the most innocuous play in baseball you've ever seen.
It's got to look like one of those glitches from MLB The Show. Where
totally.
Where like
it
looks like you hit it far and he's like admiring it, and then it's like rolling towards the second base, and you're like, what the hell just happened? What is this?
Yeah. This is funny, Mayor. 330 is actually the upper deck in Yankee Stadium. That's very funny. All right, burning through here. This day in baseball, 1948, Babe Ruth made his last public appearance, Boggs, at the New York premiere of the film The Babe Ruth Story, and he died 3 weeks later. I wanted to share that because, you're a big Babe Ruth guy. You're a big Babe Ruth.
Thanks for sharing this weird history here.
Do you think Babe Ruth could get the biggest haul in history if he was a current player right now?
Well, not only did he get a haul, but he also put a curse on a team for over 100 years. So worst trade in MLB history ever.
Maybe. Yeah, that might be true. Let's go through some stat heroes. Merrill, we talked about 8, striking out 7, only give up 3 hits. Kyle Freeland, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, only giving up 4 hits. Aaron Ashby, 9 strikeouts, a couple earned runs. Aaron Ashby been money.
In a
Zach
loss.
Greinke. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't care about the loss. Wins and losses don't matter, right, Boggs? Remember?
I mean,
those don't matter.
They don't. It's just weird to see in a loss.
Yeah, Zach Greinke probably going to be his best performance of the year. Hopefully his last 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts. Nick Lodolo, you know me, I don't like Greinke. 6 innings for Nick Lodolo, 9 strikeouts, did not give up any earned runs. Pretty solid performance from Lodolo. His K prop, I think, was 5.5 yesterday, maybe 6, but it doesn't matter. He obviously hit over that. Over on the hitters, Heimer Candelario, 2 homers, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. We talked about Jonathan India going 3 for 4 with the grand slam. Ty France, perfect 3 for 3 with a homer, an RBI, and 2 runs. Bryson Stott, did you see that homer? Bryson Stott, 5 RBIs, just absolutely crushed it. Just gave me vibes back of the Arizona Fall League, Boggs. Just absolutely turned on it. Up to 7 homers now. little sneaky. Not going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
he's
he
been
doesn't.
good.
He doesn't throw 98 to the first baseman, so he can't win Rookie of the Year.
How are we talking about Stott and you find a way to throw shade at O'Neal Cruz?
I didn't
hit
say
another bomb the other day, by the way. Did anyone let him know? I'm sure you guys let him know, right? So
no, it's tough. He's in a weird spot here for everybody because every time he hits a bomb, I would think people want to hit me up, but then it's like I could just scoreboard his batting average too. So it's like he's playing fine. He's totally playing fine. Rookie of the Year, I don't know, but just pointing that out. Some others: Tony Kemp, homer and 3 RBI. Jeremy Pena had a bomb with 2 runs. Sky Bolt, little combo meal, homer, stolen base. Eric Haas with a homer. Josh Rojas, 1 RBI with 3 stolen bases, Boggs.
Dude, Joey Bart cannot hold guys on. It was.
You see that pop up too is right behind the plate, and he just absolutely dropped it.
Biffed it. Yeah. As a catcher, he's a great hitter. So exactly. That's what Bob Brenly would say. As a catcher, he's a great hitter.
Ches McCormick also had a homer. A couple stat zeros. Trevor Rogers, 6 earned runs in 3 2/3 of an inning. Give up 7 hits.
Put him in a
strikeouts.
Box. Send him home.
Awful.
What is happening with this guy?
Awful, dude. I mean, that's why the Brandon Drury was such a play yesterday. 2 total bases. He crushed it, hit a bomb. Sean Manaea, though, awful. 9 runs he gave up, only 4 earned, 8 hits in 3 1/3 of an inning, 4 strikeouts. On the hitter side, couple big duds. Dylan Moore, 0 for 4, only Golden Sombrero of the night with 4 strikeouts. Mookie Betts was 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, and Marcus Semien had an 0 for 5 day. The 0 for 4 2 strikeout club went to Jesus Aguilar, Charlie Blackmon, Reese Hoskins, Nicky Lopez, Manny Machado, Matt Olson, and Dansby Swanson, Mr. Bogman. So some big old duddy performances. Bogman, I don't know if you have been taking part in the home run leaderboard as of late.
I'm too far back.
You're too far back?
I'm too far back. I'm not here every day. You know,
I know. Well, you can put it on there. Just want to point out, it looks like the leaderboard has relatively stayed unfazed here. We had 3, we called 3 homers correctly yesterday. That was it. So it was a brutal home run call day. So no major changes whatsoever if anybody is looking at it. Going over to the betting side from our friends over at BetMGM, you guys can get a $10 bet can win you $200 by using the promo code leading off. Just go to betmgm.com. Do it today. Download the app, use leading off, get hooked up, make all your bets, make your prop bets like I did yesterday. And I have got a couple for you, Boggs. Up on the list, this is pure lockdown. Always bet it Shane McClanahan, except the numbers already moved up on some places. So FanDuel currently has it at 6.5, at least early morning it was -130. I absolutely love that bet, but it's up to 7.5 on DraftKings. So just pointing that out. Shane McClanahan, that's an absolute money. Also Spencer Strider at 6.5 on FanDuel. That is plus money. He's going up against Philly. Those two I would love to even parlay on a little small amount if I'm looking for some funsies. The other two are the early game. Wilson Contreras, I've got on total bases up against Bryce Wilson. And he's going to be hitting 2. Give me that all day. I think he's got 3 straight games with extra base hits, 3 straight games with doubles, and it is plus 110 on the over. And then Keegan Thompson, strikeouts, 4.5. He has struck out the Pirates, I think 7 or more in his last 2 appearances up against him. So those are 4 of my bets. Do you have one you love?
I do. I actually, Luis Garcia, I don't think it's on the list here, but Luis Garcia's K prop is 5.5. A's are currently 2 for 27 against him, and he's been over 6 Ks or more in his last 4 starts as well. So give me, let's rock the baby with Luis Garcia. Let's do that one.
Rocket the baby. Over on the DFS side, don't have a lot for you. A couple stacks if I was playing around. San Diego, Seattle, Cleveland. Those would probably be my place that I'm jumping in on stacks. Boggs, you got a little bit of BVP though.
Yeah. We got, of course, Luis Garcia, the one I just said, in terms of looking for pitchers. For hitters, Ronald Acuna, 11 for 29, 379, 3 bombs versus Nola. Yuli, 11 for 30, 367 average against Montas. Lindor, 5 for 9 with a bomb versus Montgomery. Dickerson, 5 for 11 with a bomb versus Barrios. 5 for 14 with a bomb for Cedric Mullins versus McClanahan. And Profar, 4 for 9 with 2 bombs versus Taijuan Walker in his career. So a little bit of PvP.
Yeah, a little bit of action. All right, so let's get to it. Home run calls of the night. What do you got for today? Get back on the board, Bogman. Start a streak.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'll just take Judge. So how about Judge?
Okay, you're gonna go with Judge. That's an easy one.
Yeah,
I think
easy.
Joe is like in forever going to be having Austin Riley. He has not changed off of Austin Riley for the last. I don't even know if Austin Riley's had a homer in the last like 10 days. I think he actually might be cursing him. If you're a Braves fan, you might want to scream at Joe to make him stop picking him. I'm going to go with my total base call on Wilson Contreras. I just like the matchup. He's got a career homer off of Wilson. He's hitting 2, so I'm going to get a few more chances. Give me Contreras on the early run. And Mike Mayer is going with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Very, very nice. Vlad, Judge, mine's a little bit further off. Friends, that is it. Bogman, you did well. I like that Fantasy Pros hat there.
Yeah.
Looking stylish. Yeah, baby. Looking
stylish.
What's your next? Do you have something coming up on Fantasy Pros? You and Pat doing a football podcast?
Yeah, Pat and I are going to be looking at the big storylines that will impact Dynasty for fantasy football. So that is what we got coming up. Of course, you and I will be doing live stuff about 30 minutes from now over on ITL as well. And all the good stuff, just follow me at Bogman Sports, and you can find all the stuff that I do there on a regular basis.
Boom. Perfect stuff. Yeah, Bogman and I will be over on our Twitch, twitch.tv/inthisleague in about 30 minutes doing our fantasy predictors so people can come and hang out with us. But that is it. That is all that we have, friends. Joe will be back tomorrow. It's me and Joe probably talking WrestleMania or wrestling or probably not WrestleMania. I don't think that's until April, but we'll be hearing all about the Monday Night Raw in New York and how Triple H is taking over. So expect that and a whole bunch more. For Bogman, I'm Welsh. It's leading off. We love you guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.